We live in a twilight world. So yeah, man, it's been an interesting month. I think you'll all agree in regards to world stage events and everyone being kept busy pecking. And let's move him up there. So yeah, let's take a look at the main three, okay? The Kate Middleton thing, the Moscow theatre crocus of shit theatre massacre, and the Baltimore Bridge. Now, what do all three of these things have in common? Yeah, they were loaded with inconsistencies, signs, symbols, funny names. Yeah, Kate. I didn't even look at the Kate Middleton thing whatsoever, but it was hard to escape all of the masses who were being good little puppets and conspiracy theorists and looking into this. I mean, I even had one of my normie friends who was never into conspiracy theory whatsoever. Couldn't wait to tell me about all the Kate Middleton gossip and conspiracy theories, and they put this video out and from all the stuff I've heard, people have spotted that the flowers weren't moving, that her hands are glitching, that her eyebrows not moving, that she wore these clothes 2 years ago, and this bench is glitching, and all this kind of shit, all these little things, these little moments, right? Same with this, the Moscow massacre, all them guys in the blue t-shirts, the guns that were shooting out sparklers instead of bullets, even the stuff I talk about, the fact it's in a theatre and Tenet and all that kind of stuff. This one here, the boat's called Dali. Obviously, the first thing everyone did was they went onto Google, they typed in Dali. What came up? A bridge, right? Dali being an artist, and one of his famous, or probably his most famous picture, I don't know, I'm not really an expert on the artist Dali, but it was a bridge called the Bridge in a Dream or something like that, and the bridge is half broken and all that kind of stuff. Now, what is this, okay? What does it remind you of? And this is going to upset people. People don't like hearing this because this is a harsh truth. And no doubt in the comments I'm going to get some very upset people. And people are probably going to claim that I'm doing the same thing as what I'm talking about. But I disagree. But yeah, what is this all? It's a massive game of Where's Wally? Yeah? Massive online game of Where's Wally to keep you busy playing Where's Wally. Now, I love Where's Wally. Back when I was a kid, in little school, I think it was like every other week they'd take you to the local library. And it's fun, man. You'd go on a little bus, the school bus, you go down to the library. And the idea was you'd all go pick out a book and you go sit down and read for an hour or two. I always remember, I think it was like on a Friday as well, like the last half of a Friday. A great way for the teachers just to fucking slack off, isn't it? Right, really. You know what I mean? A day out, so they don't have to do anything. The library does the work. But the idea was you were meant to pick out a book, go sit down and read it. And I was the one that would go and pick out Where's Wally, which is obviously not a reading book, has nothing to do with reading. And I'd go and just look at Where's Wally all day long. As I've said before, man, I'm not much of a reader. But yeah, I was that kid. While everyone was reading, I was playing Where's Wally. Maybe that was my training. I don't know. Maybe that's synchronicity. I don't know. But yeah, man, Where's Wally? And you know how Where's Wally works? You've got to look for Wally, his girlfriend. I think she's called Wendy. His mate, the wizard. His nemesis. I've forgotten what his name is. Isn't it? I can't remember his name. Olgar or something like that. I fucking can't remember. And then other times you'd have to go and find Wally's fucking dog and his walking stick and Wendy's umbrella and where's the wizard's staff gone and all that kind of shit. Yeah, man. Massive game of online Where's Wally? This is what I'm talking about. It's all the same thing, yeah? And I've been saying this for a long time. For me, this really hit home with the Epstein business. Here's a picture I made ages ago. You may have heard me talking with Emily Moyer about this. A fine example of the double cross system and chicken feed would be the whole Epstein saga, right? And this was way back before the scamdemic, right? This is when I guess the podcasting world kind of took off, and a lot of us could now just go and listen to like different kind of conspiracy theories and stuff. But when the whole Epstein thing dropped, every conspiratorial podcast in the world was falling for the trap of talking about Epstein. Yeah. And the only person I know that dared to say, does Epstein even exist, was Human Vibration. And that's how I connected with Human Vibration. That's where she gained my respect. Because me personally back in those days, I think it was about 2018, maybe 19, I don't know. I might be getting them dates wrong, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was before the 2020 scamdemic. But I was actually disgusted how easily these so-called conspiracy theorist gangs, crew, people, podcasters were falling for the trap of Epstein, right? Yeah. And then, of course, they would go online and they would do what they call a deep dive research, which is all going online and looking for stuff about Epstein. And guess what? They'd find stuff about Epstein. Okay, they might have had to search deeply for it, but that's what chicken feed is. The same as a chicken has to go looking, the farmer throws out chicken feed into the grass. The chicken has to go walking through the grass, going to find that bit of chicken feed. Now, just to be clear about chicken feed, yeah, back in World War II, where we get the term from, where the British intelligence services used it, there was different levels of it. There was no cipher, low cipher, and high cipher. No cipher would be junk that would be put in a newspaper that any Tom, Dick and Harry could read. Like the spies that were operating in Britain could just pick up a newspaper. But the German intelligence services weren't stupid. They knew that the British would put misleading things in newspapers, tidbits and that and here and there. Then there was like a low cipher. This was stuff like they were putting out across like communication via like radio signals and stuff like that. Then there was high cipher, stuff they were putting embedded with Enigma codes and stuff like that, stuff that you'd have to break the code to find it. But this was the stuff they really wanted the Germans to focus on. And they went to extra lengths of hiding it so that the Germans would think it was worth something. But at the end of the day, it was chicken feed. It was somewhat true but useless information. And the efforts of hiding it within Enigma codes or deep somewhere within the communication networks, this kept the Germans busy. But at the end of the day, it was still chicken feed. Somewhat true but useless information. Epstein, completely fictional character, and everything exists online about him has been put there to be found. High cipher, low cipher, no cipher. So people like Whitney Webb, for example, and I'm not attacking Whitney Webb. There's loads of Whitney Webb type people out there, but their whole career is based on being the one that goes and does a deep dive on the internet and gets all of this chicken feed and then puts it together in a Substack or a podcast or a book, and then is now getting paid to be the chicken feed collector of information, yeah? And then, of course, all the conspiratorial podcasts now want to get Whitney Webb on to talk about the deep dive research she's found, as if it's legitimate. And no one really stops and says, hang on, do you not think that maybe this is a classic British intelligence services ruse? But here's the thing, and yet again, this is going to offend a lot of people listening. The conspiracy theory world is mainly dominated by Americans, and Americans cannot stomach the idea that the British intelligence services are at the top of the pyramid. Yeah, they want to focus on Mossad, the CIA, Anunnaki space aliens, reptilian shapeshifters from the Draco constellation, anything. American conspiracy theorists want the Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews, the Phoenicians, the Romans. They want to focus on anything other than the British intelligence services, who wrote the book on all of this kind of misleading espionage stuff. Yeah? And had the the most powerful, successful empire that ever existed. So there's some sort of weird kind of Westworld thing going on there. You know, like in Westworld, you would show a Westworld robot, a picture of the outside world, and they couldn't register it. There's a lot of that going on with Americans. I think it's the whole programming of the 4th of July, independence, we beat the British, you know, constantly drilled into them year in, year out, fireworks and celebrations. The whole simple and the whole national identity being built on that. That when you turn around and say, well, actually, it's a one world government, and the City of London is the puppet master of all of that right now, they can't stomach it. They'd rather live in this world where there's, you know, satanic paedophiles running underneath them, chemtrails raining down above them, and so on and so on. But yeah, man, this is a great example, all of this online stuff of the double cross system. Of course, you know, want to talk about synchronicities and stuff. When I started speaking about the double cross system, weirdly, you know, Twitter became X, which, as you know, it appears as an XX in your pocket, like so. And the other day, hang on, let me go find you another picture. Bear with me. I take so many screenshots that I lose track of them. I'm not very good at creating files and putting screenshots in the correct files and so on, which I should do really, but I can't be bothered because I don't really give a fuck about this kind of stuff. The other day, Elon Musk, he put up one of his little graphics, and it was this, but it was moving, which of course, the Everything app, and you've got the double cross right there. As you all know, this is the little symbol that I use for my work, which I made, the double cross system, puppeteering, the normies and the truthers, whatever you want, Republicans, Democrats, flat earthers, globe earthers, black, white, gay, straight, the endless dialectic, yeah, that's the whole point of the double cross system, endless dialectic as well. But obviously it's become very digital now. And I mean, you can find little bits about it in the mainstream world. There's obviously this book written by the man himself, JC Masterman, allegedly. But that's it. You don't really get much about the double cross system. And obviously the stuff you do get about the double cross system online is, of course, going to be chicken feed. Everything online is chicken feed. Everything. Someone said to me the other day, like, it was like, thanks, Les. I want to thank you for helping me hone my spot the chicken feed skills. And I said, like, me personally, I think everything that comes from the internet is chicken feed. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's how I feel. People that don't want to take seriously the idea that the City of London is the top dog that's running the world, yeah, they're the ones that put down all the undersea cables that control the internet. They're this second version of the British Empire is the internet. Yeah, that's the net that covers the world. That's what we're all under now. Yeah, and also they've got Skynet above, which is operating through things like GPS, GLONASS in Russia, Starlink. Skynet is in all of that stuff. Skynet, by the way, is the British Intelligence Service's satellite communications system. I don't know, a lot of flat earthers might come along and say, well, satellites don't exist. Well, I don't know. They've got something up there. You know, I don't have to plug my iPad in to a cable to upload it. It's going somewhere up above or around me before it goes into them undersea cables, yeah? But yeah, the whole world was misdirected by looking at the atom bomb. The whole atom bomb being dropped in over in Japan, which was meant to be the kind of like, look over here flash moment that people think that somehow made the USA the new kind of empire of the world. But it wasn't. Like, I don't know, it was just a misdirect. It was the magician creating a distraction over here, right? Yeah. The British Empire, by the way, engineered World War II. And what they did was they faked their own death. And I'll talk about that in another video, because that's quite important. I think people have to understand why the difference between what the British Empire did and what the Romans did. Whereas the Romans, they tried to fight against their death. The British, who learnt off the Romans, who studied the Roman Empire and where it went wrong, they learnt that you can't avoid the death of your empire. All empires die at some point. So they brought it forth. They faked their own death and became a ghost empire that now puppeteers the USA, the USSR back then, China, and Europe, and the rest of the world. But they're the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right? USA, Russia, China, and the EU. And the British Empire is all of them, puppeteering all of them. And then people go, well, Les, this sounds ridiculous. Because what? Because you watched a YouTube video. And that YouTube video is basically bang on about how poor Britain is. How their military is a joke. They're putting that out there. They are spending billions on the whole deception campaign of making the British military look like a has-been joke. And you've got to remember, Britain has two militaries. There's the one that you can go and join, which is a joke. It's not even 100,000 people. And that's the one they constantly keep using as this thing they put forth to the world. Like they show everyone, as in the joke army, a has-been army, hasn't got enough bullets to fight Russia right now. If it went to war with Russia, it'd be out of bullets within 2 weeks and all this kind of shit. Yet, you go and watch a video about the USA, it'll endlessly bang on about how they're the powerful military in the world. They've got the most ballistic missiles and so on and so on. This is misdirect, yeah? This is what the internet is there to do. This is double cross. They're inverting the reality. The truth is the USA has the weakest military. The strongest military in the world is the Ghost Legion, which you don't even know exists. Nobody knows the Ghost Legion exists because they're not stupid enough to put that shit on YouTube or on the news or in a book. Yeah, everything from the printing press to what comes on your television to what comes on your YouTube feed to what you've found on the deepest, darkest corners of the internet is there for you to be found. That's the shit they want you to know. The juicy stuff will never be spoken about. Yeah? Yet again, this is a magician using a spotlight and shadow. Imagine a magician stage. They will put a spotlight on what they want you to look at. They will put all the stuff they want hidden in darkness. And you can't see it. We live in a twilight world. There are no friends at dusk.